Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator Mike Shula knows criticism. After all, as Alabama's football coach from 2003 through 2006, he posted a 2,623 overall record and a 13-19 SEC mark. His successor, Nick Saban, has won 4 national championships and has the highest winning percentage in conference games in SEC history. But that's not when Shula first heard it from Alabama fans. He was a sophomore quarterback for the Crimson Tide who couldn't throw spirals. I was very inaccurate, except when I was throwing shovel passes. So don't expect Shula to wring his hands over any outside criticism of the state of the Panthers' offense. Besides, not even the NFC South offensive coordinator coming under the most fire. That would be Steve Sarkisian of the Atlanta Falcons, who has inspired headlines such as this after a loss to the New England Patriots on Sunday night. Steve Sarkisian sank the Falcons with NFL Week 7's biggest coaching mistake. Shula and Sarkisian share more than NFL division, job descriptions and current hot seats for the fall-off in the team's offensive output. Like Shula, Sarkisian coached at Alabama, moving from offensive analyst last season to offensive coordinator when Lane Kiffin left for Florida Atlantic's top job. The biggest current NFL stars from the Iron Bowl rivalry also play parts in the coach's current predicaments. Shula has Auburn's Cam Newton as Carolina's quarterback. Sarkisian has Alabama's Julio Jones as an all-pro wide receiver. Sarkisian went from Alabama to Atlanta to replace Kyle Shanahan, before departing to become the San Francisco 49ers head coach in 2017. Shanahan directed the highest-scoring offense in the NFL as the Falcons reached the Super Bowl last season. Atlanta averaged 33.75 points per game and posted an 115 regular season record in 2016. This year, the Falcons have scored at a 21.3 points per game clip and a 33.21 NFL teams have more points than Atlanta. Atlanta's 237 loss to the Patriots was its third in a row, and one play in particular against New England has the Falcons fans' hackles up. Trailing 200, Atlanta had a 4th and goal at the Patriots' 1-yard line. Sarkisian called an end-around. Patriots defensive end Trey Flowers and linebacker Carl Van Noy blew it up for a 6-yard loss. The Falcons didn't get the ball back again until New England had run 523 off the clock and added 3 points to its lead. As you look back to it, I definitely would rather have a better play for that, Atlanta coach Dan Quinn said. That was definitely one that bumped where it went, how it went through. If you had a call back, damn right you'd want to have that one back. Sarkisian probably wasn't around enough to really feel the heat of Alabama football, although the Tide's second-half play choices in the 3,531 loss to Clemson in the CFP National Championship game on January 9 generated plenty of it. Alabama led 147 at halftime after averaging 6.8 yards per carry on its 21 rushing attempts. In the second half, the Tide threw as many passes as it had in the first 16 but ran the ball only 13 times. When Jones caught a 1-yard touchdown pass with 409 to play against New England, it ended a 9,120 scoring drought for Atlanta and also was the 6th time in 2017 that the Falcons had thrown to Jones on a red zone snap. 4 of those throws occurred in the second half on Sunday night. Quinn said last week he wanted the ball to go to Jones more, and Sarkisian obliged. Jones was targeted 13 times, the most this season, and more than the previous 2 games combined. He finished with 9 receptions for 99 yards and his first touchdown of the season. That left Jones with 34 receptions for 531 yards 6 games into the season. His average yards per catch of 13.7 is lower than HES had in any full season, and his average number of receptions and yards per game is his lowest since 2012. Jones said the Falcons' problems on offense aren't due to Sarkisian. So what's wrong then? Every week it's kind of different, Jones said. Last week, we didn't take shots down the field. This week, it was 3rd down and the red area. We just weren't on the same page and weren't connecting. We played poorly. We just have to keep working. There's no secret about that. We go out there with great effort and play hard for one another. We're just missing. We're not connected. While Jones' stats aren't in line with expectations, neither are Newton's in Carolina. Newton won the NFL MVP award in 2015 when he triggered the league's highest-scoring attack and the Panthers went to the Super Bowl. Last year didn't measure up to that, and Newton has been a rollercoaster in 2017. After throwing 4 interceptions and getting Carolina into the end zone 3 times in the first 3 games, Newton threw 6 touchdown passes and 1 interception as the Panthers scored 60 points and beat New England and the Detroit Lions in the next 2 games. The rust that Carolina coach Ron Rivera kept talking about seemed gone. Off-season shoulder surgery had limited Newton to 1 preseason series and severely curtailed his training camp throwing. But in the past 2 games, Newton has thrown 1 TD pass and 5 interceptions in a pair of losses. On Sunday, the Chicago Bears beat Carolina 173 while completing 4 passes and getting the 2 touchdowns from the defense. How confident is Rivera in the Panthers' offense trailing by 2 touchdowns? He punted from the Chicago 38 on the 3rd snap of the 4th quarter. It was 4th and 13, but the Bears hadn't shown much ability to move the ball from the 38 or anywhere else on the field, finishing with 153 yards of offense. There's no excuse not to come in and find a way to win this football game, Newton said. We squandered that opportunity. We have to get the job done, and offensively we didn't. We didn't get an opportunity to get in the red zone, and that's unacceptable. We will have to be better. Rivera backed Shula this week when questions were posed about Carolina's offense, which failed to reach the end zone for the 2nd time this season. I'm happy with what we're doing, Rivera said. Again, just watch the game and see what's happening. Okay, but I'm happy with what we're doing. If he had one suggestion for the offense, Rivera said maybe it could be simpler until Carolina, which added running backs Christian McCaffrey and Curtis Samuel in the draft, lost tight end Greg Olsen to a broken foot and has been without center Ryan Khalil for most of the season because of a neck injury, gets everyone on the same page. We need to look at that, Shula said on Monday. And that's a fine line, too. You don't want to cut it down too much, but you want to make sure your guys are playing fast. We've had some moving parts, not to make an excuse, but it's something you've got to look at. You can have all you want in the game plan, and feel like it will be good stuff, but if they aren't playing fast and not making adjustments that we need to make, then, yeah, we have to make sure we do whatever it takes to get there. Despite laying an egg in Chicago on Sunday, the Carolina offense can see the promised land, Shula said. We're not as far off as we think, Shula said. It feels like we are, and we all feel terrible. Then you throw on top of that turnovers. It's stuff we feel confident we're going to get fixed. His job security isn't what occupies Shula's mind. I have concerns about our offense and getting points on the board, Shula said when asked about the critics. Besides, Shula knows what will make most of the fire-breathers close their mouths. Learned it after his sophomore season at Alabama. WHATD then I threw spirals, Shula said. You've got to go win, Shula said. We know we've got to go win, and even sometimes then you're going to get criticism. Chicago Bears linebacker Leonard Floyd sacks Carolina Panthers quarterback Cam Newton during an NFL game on Sunday, October 22, 2017, in Chicago. App photo Mark Inabinet is a sports reporter for Alabama Media Group. Follow him on Twitter at @Mark1.